Welcome, reading one. You chose the hanging parrot. The hanging parrot. And this says, gain knowledge by surrendering to the universal flow. You're the only reading that only had one card. I asked if we wanted to pull in any other divination tools. They said no. I kind of feel like I want to go in just a little bit. Yeah. Just take a minute and look at that. Also, your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to research parrot spiritual meaning, spirit animal, spirit medicine. They're just different languaging from different cultures, but they all have something important or special to convey. It's interesting because I've studied so many different spirit animal meanings, essences, medicine over the years, and it is interesting to find out how, one country or culture will have a completely different take on the animal, right? Because it's all about perception. It's not like a guidebook fell from the sky from spirit and was like, here's all the animals on the planet, here's what they all stand for. I mean, basically, we use them as lessons and tools to help guide us on our journey. So when we find the meanings of them, it's really by perception and observation. So maybe go watch some parrot videos. I watched this one video of, there's this guy, if they call me to, I'll put a link in the description box. Always check in the description box. There's ways to get in touch with me if you want to work with me one-on-one, or in couples or groups. I do all of them. And then also, if you want to contribute to the tribe and the work that I do on this channel. And always little Easter eggs, as my birthday sister says, of extra things. So anyway, this artist, I fell in love with him. You may know him. I think he goes by Plume, because I think it's the song is, I don't know. Anyway, long story short, I fell into the rabbit hole, so to speak, and watched, I don't know how many of his videos back to back, like so many. And he is a musician that goes around and entertains animals at zoos, private farms. And it's just really magical and beautiful to see their reaction. And one of the last ones I watched was 2 cockatoos, which I think may be in the parrot family, but or maybe it was 3, but however many there were, but they were dancing as he was playing Jolene on an acoustic guitar, and they were dancing, and I was laughing so hard, and I was just like, that's so awesome, right? Because it's a rare treat. Some places like shelters, animal shelters and things like that, do play music for animals at night to help them sleep and to have that soothing energy. But not all animals, especially pasture animals or zoo animals, have the privilege to, have that connection. So I feel this is the message I'm getting from you, because, in real time, today is February 10th, which I can't even believe we're 10 days into February. I feel like I just did the group reading for February, which, by the way, I'll put a link to that in the description box as well. It was so good. Lots of information, insightful information, astrology, moon stuff, just, all the changes and transformations that are taking place this month. I mean, literally, there's so many. It's unbelievable. It's undeniable. We're in the new world, but we're really going to step through the portal on the 17th, and the new moon in Aquarius, and the solar eclipse, and just a lot of really cool, interesting things are going to be happening all in one day. Not to mention that it's just going to keep going. 2026 is just a really vibrant, magical year if you're in the light, if you're putting your eyes and your gaze and your wants and your desires into the light, and your passions and things that light you up and make you so excited. You're just like a firecracker going off all the time because you're so happy. that kind of energy will be rewarded and mirrored from the universe. So I feel like for you guys, I didn't feel this until I started doing the reading, but I feel like what you need to hear right now is there's some connection that you have with animals that I feel like for some of you may be your sole purpose, if not just part of your purpose. Or it could even be that maybe you're meant to align with a familiar at this time. And a familiar is just an animal, which could be a bird, a lizard, a dog, a cat, a horse, doesn't matter. It could be an inchworm, seriously. Anything that you aligned with or align with energetically, if you're wanting some type of companion while you're going through some major metamorphosis or transformation, which a lot of the light workers are this year. And this channel, you know, I have been in service to the light workers for many, many, many millennia, and not just on this planet or in this solar system, but beyond. I have seen many of my lifetimes in places and things that I've done. And long story short, I feel like for you guys, you may get along better in solitude with animals than humans, and that's okay. Some of you may be going into hermit mode. Some of you may be, I feel like there's all different levels of the dark night of the soul happening with you, but I'm feeling a strong empath energy, which is also why they're saying like parrots are really awesome, because parrots talk, right? Like they're super intelligent, you know, they realize, like, I think I read something one time that said that the parrot had the intelligence of like a 3 or a 4-year-old, which 3 and 4-year-olds are pretty savvy. They're pretty smart. You know, they may not have the life experience yet, but they're little sponges, you know, and they pick up everything around them. That's when they're, you know, it's like from the time we're born until, you know, and the time we open our eyes until, you know, wherever we get to where we're going, it's just like an endless experience of knowledge and learning. And I'm hearing from spirit, this next phase of your life is going to be about learning and listening. I just heard. I also felt a nervous energy. Like right now, I feel like some of you like to talk a lot just to like fill the room, because it makes you like, I feel like silence makes, this may even be for one person, but because to me, I think parrots are like loud or whatever, but I feel like for some of you, like silence really makes you feel unnerved. And it could be programming, it could be some type of trauma, or it could even be that wherever you come from in the galaxies, you came here to help and align the energies. Some light workers have a completely different job, you know, like literally their job is to maybe get a parrot, start a YouTube channel with their parrot, and, you know, make a ridiculous amount of money just playing with their parrot. People do it all the time. That's why they said like the divide has really like shifted right now, because the people who are still in the quote unquote poor mentality or living in poverty consciousness or living in poverty in general, is because they are not aligning with their purpose, and they're still going through this old third dimensional like patriarchy. I need this to survive, or I can't do this on my own, and like all these negative things that aren't yours. And if you're empaths, which I believe most of you are, then it would make sense that you are feeling, you know, a certain way about your connection with spirit and with the human race. Animals, for the most part, yeah, they can be sneaky. Of course they can. I mean, we've all seen it. You know, look at raccoons, but even raccoons, look at the way they work together. Do you guys know that raccoons, I mean, just study animals. Maybe that's something you guys need to do too. Like maybe you would just like love studying animals. I follow so many animal channels on YouTube. I learned so much. But one of my favorite things about raccoons is they're one of the only species that actually feeds their lookouts first. And a lot of species, it goes by, you know, like who's the leader, or like who's the, you know, like that kind of thing, like the leader of the pride kind of thing with the lions. They give to the king first, right? Like they go and hunt and they give to them and then they eat. But with raccoons, it's the opposite. Raccoons need lookouts. That's how fucking smart they are. They need lookouts because they're going in trash cans, so they're being sneaky. That's why they had little bandits on. They call them little bandits, right? But what a cool thing that they go and they get all the food, and then when they, you know, get to their destination, they feed the lookouts first. They're like, hey, cool, thanks for looking out. You know, that tells you a lot about the raccoons. And, you know, I feel like for some of you guys, like seriously, maybe even it's just like to have, you know, a squirrel in your yard that's like your best friend. They don't live in your house, but you talk to them every day, you see them. I just am feeling solitude energy from you guys, and I'm feeling like it's okay though, you know, because for some of you, it literally is your purpose is to be more with animals than with humans, and there's literally nothing wrong with that. I just got the chills. Some of you may love working at a zoo. I saw something one time where this guy was like, they're like, oh, what do you do for a living or whatever. It's like one of those things where they stop and ask people stuff. And he's like, oh, I'm a zookeeper, or I'm a zoo attendant or something like that. Not a zookeeper, but he said something. And he's like, what does that mean? He goes, it means I scoop shit or whatever. And they're like, oh my gosh, like that's your job? And they're like, yeah. They're like, my friends are elephants, my friends are giraffes, like, and I just like, you know what I mean? Like the perception shifted. They didn't look at it as scooping shit in a fucking zoo. They looked at it like they get to be around elephants and giraffes and other animals. They don't have to talk to anybody. They get to do what they want to do. All of us have a purpose. Some are grander than others. If you do not want to be in the spotlight, but you like attention, or you know what I mean? Like, it's like maybe that would be good for you, is to have an animal. I don't know. That really came through really strongly. And when I saw that it was one card, I didn't even read it because I was like, oh, cool. I wonder what I mean, I have over 50 plus divination tools. I don't know every single one, and I don't use them all the time. They're used for different purposes. So I just heard energetic parrot. And some of you, maybe you need the energy of a parrot. Like parrots are really talkative. Like, you know, when people want birds, I always say to them, like, are you sure? Especially like, it's like any animal, right? When people are like, oh, you know, when Frasier came out and everybody wanted an Eddie, they're like, oh, I want one of those dogs. I want one of those dogs. Oh yeah. People went crazy breeding them. And then you know what? They ended up being the #1 dog in the shelter for years because they're a working dog. They are high energy. They're like, they're like that kind of energy. If you are somebody who's chill and you have a dog that like wants to run, wants to play, and you live in an apartment, you will go batshit. You know, so I'm hearing really research what aligns. Like maybe there's an animal that keeps coming to you. Maybe there's a swan. I don't know. You know, like whatever. I just saw a swan. You know, whatever it is. You know, maybe you want to raise some swans to be on your farm. I always wanted swans. Cool. Get some swans. Work with them. Swans are beautiful. The keyword for swan is grace. So with that being said, the hanging parrot says, gain knowledge by surrendering to the universal flow. The other message in this reading, the final message for you guys, is control. Empaths, we are one of the worst culprits for control, and that is because we had to learn how to control our environment because we didn't know how to control our emotions or the people around us. So we did our best to try and control our energy. I had many family members when autism became really big that they were like, oh my gosh, you're autistic. We realized, like, we've been talking about it. Like, so many things make sense. Like, one of my family members watched an Oprah episode and all of a sudden I was autistic. And I'm like, maybe I am. But what I find in all of my years of working with children and people with autism is that they're just different. They come from different realms, different galaxies, and they're not trying to put on masks or pretend or hide who they are. It's almost as if there's something inside of them, like sociopaths that have like no remorse. No, it's like, well, how is somebody born that way? Well, they were born to teach us, that things can happen, and that sometimes when we, procreate or we, whatever, it's like, I don't know. I mean, I don't want to get into all the science of it, but you get what I'm saying with that. So I'm hearing that, when we try to control things too much, it just holds us too tightly. Like, look at the way that the parrot is holding on. Of course, they have wings. They're not going to fall. If they let go of that branch, they're going to fly and they're going to soar. And I feel like that's what Spirit wants you to do. They're asking you to do something that makes you so uncomfortable. They're asking you to step so far outside of your comfort zone that it's going to really be uncomfortable for a while, but you must, because you came here to do something really powerful. So you're going to have to make big changes in order for your life to change, right? You know that saying, nothing ever changes if nothing ever changes. I've been going through my same thing. I'm going through the same thing, right? And change is like the 7 stages of death. I mean, I found myself recently trying to reason with spirit on why I shouldn't make this big move that I'm going to be making soon, and that I, this, that, and the other. And they're like, okay. And right. And it's like, when we plan, God laughs. When we, and it's not being mean. It's like, it's them trying to show us that, like, that flame that is lit within us for a reason. We were all given different gifts. We all have a purpose here. And if there's billions of souls here, right, it makes sense. So it's time to align with your purpose. It's time to let go of, the same old, going to the same job, doing the same thing. Like, that is not who you are. And if you are somebody who doesn't like silence, birds are really great for that. Now, I don't recommend animals to be our pets, quote unquote. That's why I call them familiars, because there's a pet when you just, people who just like collect animals, but then there's like, an actual one-on-one animal. That's your familiar. It's your protector. It's your friend. It's your teacher. It's your love. You know what I mean? It helps us. Animals help us to love ourselves more, because in loving them, we love ourselves. They, especially if they're kept or caged, for sure, right? Like, they cannot live without us. They need us to survive. If they were out in the wild, they could care for themselves. But if we're going to keep an animal caged, or we're going to keep an animal, nearer to us, I always felt like, if, I hear things all the time, drink some water. I hear things all the time about people who get animals from shelters and the animals run away. I always feel like that scene in The Wizard of Oz when Toto gets away and she's like, run, Toto, go. She's like, yeah. She's like, get out. She's like, go, 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 go. And he like fucking hustles out of there. It's kind of like, that's how I feel when I see things like that. I'm always like, good for them. I'm like, they're exactly where they're supposed to be. Or like, I'll be on Craigslist and I'll see like animal lost, and I'll see, I'm like, they ain't fucking lost. Trust me. They left. Like, not to be mean, but like, it does happen. And they're off to find their person. I mean, that's how I found Baba. I mean, so many of my animals that came to me that I looked after, that were either familiars or fosters or whatever, all of them were somehow, they found me. I mean, I had one of my dogs that literally kept showing up at my house. She lived a few blocks away, but she kept jumping the fence and like coming to our house until finally the owner agreed to let them go. The truth is, they didn't really want the dog, and the dog knew that. So the dog came to be with me, and the dog ended up being one of my greatest teachers. And I have animals that I regret so many things, the way I treated them, or the way I, because I looked at them as just, people were like, it's just a dog, or it's just a cat, or it's just, and I'd be like, they're not though. They're like super special and sentient, So anyway, with that being said, I just feel like for some of you, Spirit is saying like, it is just really time to embrace the universal flow, not man-made flow, not the people around you flow, not the people who are still in the, okay, let's meet grandma on Sunday for breakfast every Sunday. The family, we always do this. We always have, Ramadan together. We always, do this, like this holiday, we always do this. We always do that. I found myself recently, I don't know what the state of my romantic relationship is, but I'm pretty sure it's over. I mean, I don't know if it's over forever, but I know that like, I feel like the more, like, we're cool and we get along so great and we have so much fun together. But anytime I try to make it more romantic, I kind of am feeling like this pushback from Spirit that's like, that's not where it needs to be right now. Like, that's just going to confuse things. And I said to him, I was like, hey, I was thinking I'd make you dinner for Valentine's Day. You want to come over and watch a movie, And he, and and I saw him kind of pause, and then I thought I probably should have texted him that and given him time to think about it, you know, because I didn't mean to put him on the spot, because the truth is right now we're both going through such big changes, and I'm actually moving out of state away from my partner. We've been separated for, it'll be 2 years this summer. So, you know, it's like everything happens for a reason. And I started to go through the same thing where I'm just like, are you sure, you know, this is, and it's like, to even ask the universe that is so silly, right? Am I sure, after they've sent me like 100 signs that I'm going on the right path? You know what I mean? So listen and watch for the signs. Remember, they said to listen more. Go slow. The faster things are going, the thing is, the fifth dimensional energy is moving so fucking fast, and it's freaking people out, which is making them hold on tighter to the old energy. That's why they're saying, make America great again. It's like, make what great again? What the fuck do you want to make great again? Look at all these people who had to sacrifice and die for us to have the freedoms that we have. And you're trying to push us back into the fucking closet, so to speak, you know, and we're seeing that and how it's happening. And it's just really powerful. And they're taking the same playbooks from, you know, really horrible, you know, pages in history that, you know, it's like, no, we're not, that's not going to happen this time. We've learned more, we know more. You don't have the right to do that. So I'm hearing for some of you that are like, maybe the politics, maybe, you know, it's like certain things are just like too intense for you right now. Spirit says, then step away, stop watching the news, get off social media, only watch things that are like, have no commercials, you know, like maybe you have something on your DVD that you can watch. You know, the library is free. You can go to the library, especially in America, renting from the library is free. Videos, you know, DVDs, whatever, music. I have been so blessed to live in cities that had like every TV show that was out there. They have people, there are donors that do stuff like that. You know, a lot of the, you know, big companies too, like Paramount and, you know, I almost said Miramax, but I don't know if I want to go there right now, but you know what I mean? The big studios like that, they actually donate a lot of that stuff to the libraries too. So you can watch stuff without having to go online, or, you know what I mean? It's like you can just go pop something into that. You don't have to go surf the web or go on TikTok or any of that shit. Like I'm hearing from Spirit, like I've been getting that for myself too, to pull more back right now in real time. Like I said, we are a week away from the new moon in Aquarius and from the year of the wood snake going into the fire horse. So whenever you watch this, they're always timeless. But if you do watch them in real time, take this time to really look at how the parrot is kind of looking back too and looking down. It's almost like they're, you know, it's like reflect on what it is that you know you really need to let go of, and what is your passion. And I'm getting the vibe for some of you guys, it's animals. So it's either animals in your purpose, with your purpose. Maybe you're a seer or a medium for animals. Maybe you like being a Reiki for animals instead of humans. People do that too. Trust me. I had a neighbor who used to like almost beg me to do Reiki on her dog all the time, you know, because the one time I worked on her dog and she's like, what did you do to my dog? And I'm like, what? And she's like, I'm not kidding you. She's like, can't you see how they're walking better? You know? So there is a need for a lot of different fields to work with all different animals. Research it, see what aligns for you. You may even be able to do internships for free until you can get a job. You know, you don't necessarily have to go to college. You know, look into it first and see what you can do. Getting your foot in the door is always the key. I am not an advocate for zoos. I am anti-zoo. I think they're fucked up and crazy, and I don't understand them. I cry. I can't even go to a zoo. It makes me so upset because I can hear all the animals and my heart just hurts. I spent my 40th birthday at a zoo, and you know, I was so grateful that it ended up being a really, really cold day because almost all the animals were inside, but it forced me to like kind of do the same. And the ones that were outside, I just like sat with them. There was this orangutan when I got there. They looked suicidal. And by the time I left, we were dancing together through the glass. You know what I mean? You have no idea the power that you can bring to animals. Okay, so I said I'll put a link to that artist, and I want you to watch those with them playing music and all that. I've done it too. Sometimes when I'm driving, I'll hear stop the car, you know, or I'll say to my partner, I'll say stop the car, and I'll hear stop the car, and but I will from spirit, right? And I'll just go and we'll pull over to the side, and there'll be a big pasture of cows, and I'll go and I'll put classical music on my phone and I'll blast it, and they all come to me. They need it too. The animals need healing right now too. When I was a little girl, I used to sing to my dog. Like, I mean, they need us too. So those are your messages, reading one. Let me see, do we have any more messages, Spirit? Do we have any channeled messages from any crossed over loved ones, ancestors, anything that wants to come through? Nope, those are your messages, reading one. Thank you for being here. I thank all of your people and my people. We are in deep gratitude. Do you have anything else, Spirit, that you'd like to say to them, or do you want me to pull any more cards? The only thing I heard was if you were drawn to any other readings, feel free to check them out. This is, sometimes I tell you guys in readings like, oh, speaking of, I'll put a link for that too. I just did a pick a reading for what past life is holding you back from your future. And I encourage you to watch that, especially if you're watching it in 2026, because this is such a big year astrologically, and just things that haven't happened and aligned in thousands of years, and a lot of good things. And also it's a lot of things that are going to be uncovered. A lot of things are going to be rolled back, and a lot of people are going to be exposed, and they won't be able to hide anymore from certain things. So wink, wink from Spirit, believe in magic and miracles, and let Spirit do their job. Just when you're having a day where you're not feeling good, go play with an animal, go sit by a tree, go outside. But I'm hearing it's just that you've disconnected too much. And if you're going to be in hermit mode, that's fine. But make sure that you have a companion, or maybe you love plants and you talk. Plants are very sentient too. Play music for plants. They love it. My plants, I had 3 lemongrass plants, and they were so healthy, and then all of a sudden, no matter what I did, I was like, what is happening? And I watched one die, and I was like, oh no. And I was like, I kept asking them, do you want to be repotted? No. Then I watched another one started to go, and I was like, no, what's happening? And he told me when he gave them to me, they were gifted to me by a friend of mine, and he was just like, hey, I'm not going to grow these anymore. They need to be repotted at some point, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, long story short, there was one left. And they were starting to go, but not bad. I can tell that they were still thriving. And I had this big fucking pot that I've had for years that I've been waiting to put certain things in. And long story short, I put that one in this big pot. I took all of the soil from the other plants and remnants and all that, cleaned them up, repotted them, and they are growing, and they are happy, and they are joyful. The other ones, it was just their time to go. And it's interesting because I started a new compost, and I felt like those lemongrass wanted to be in there, like to give back to the earth. Lemongrass is very powerful. It's a very powerful healer. So Spirit wants you to start looking at the universal flow of life, but definitely at Gaia. And we're here to support and love Gaia and all of her creatures, especially the animals. That's a sign from my refrigerator. Yes. All right. I love you guys. We'll see you at the next reading. Like I said, all the information's in the description box. We'll see you next time. Blessed be. Oh, love you. Bye. Welcome, reading 2. It stopped at 2747 at the end of reading 1. And I just cannot shake the fact that those numbers mean something. Also, 27 is 9 and 47 is 11. So it could even be 911 or 911 emergency. So, I do a lot of numerology stuff. So whenever something just won't let me go, I know that there's something there. So I guess we'll dive into your reading and see what needs to be said. Okay, so we have Honeyguide, and this says, benefit from the harvest of knowledge and sustenance that cooperation brings. So these are just kind of a blank messages you need to hear from Spirit. And how this even came to be is that I feel like it's almost like I had 20 different radio stations, or I saw the number 16. So maybe 16, but seriously, literally probably was 16, because it literally felt like that. It's for the last several days, I've just been feeling like there's several radio stations on, and it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? It just, when that happens, I know that that's just a lot of people that need help. And I don't know if any of you have ever been a receptionist, but one of my first real adult jobs after high school was I was a receptionist at a TV ad firm. And anyway, long story short, blah, 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 blah. The energy and the intensity from a switchboard, there were like 60 people that worked there. And it was kind of like we were television reps. That's what we really were. We were the go-between. So it's kind of like recently I just watched Trading Spaces again with Eddie Murphy and Dan Aykroyd. That movie is brilliant, by the way. It's fucking brilliant. I mean, it's like sexist and messed up and like misogynistic and like all the things in like 1983. You know what I mean? But at the same time, the message is brilliant. The message is absolutely brilliant. And what happens, you know, at the end and all that, if you've never seen it. I'll put a link below. It's free on YouTube right now. Actually, the YouTube version is kind of good. It's not as smutty. I mean, there's still like some of the things I said, but anyway, I digress. But there was just something about that connection. Oh, you guys, the termites are going. They have been, okay, so the termites have been coming to our tribe for a long time now, like over, I don't know how long. They came into my house. I was really upset. I kept trying to get rid of them, and Spirit was like, leave them be. And I was like, why? And they're like, because they're actually doing you a favor, because we're in the midst of a remodel. And long story short, they are eating like all the gross stuff. They're like little filters, and they don't even like leave poop behind like a mouse or something like that. They're actually really they're awful, right? Like you don't want them in your home because of like, you know, the foundation and things like that. But like for this kind of situation, it's like they literally like there's a leak in the roof that we can't get to until we rip the ceiling out. And they are literally like eating away at the icky part to keep my house healthy. But I don't hear them all the time. And I've been doing readings for, you know, 31 minutes now, and I prepped and was meditating. And right when I started to put your reading together, I heard them and I started laughing because I always know like that's them talking. So I've been putting the termite spiritual meaning in the description box for a lot of the readings for several weeks now, but I'm not going to do it this time. This time I want you to research it on your own, because I find that people, when you have to do the work yourself, you will retain the information more. Okay? So I know we went down a lot of rabbit holes right there, so we'll just follow the breadcrumbs. Spirit always brings us back around to whatever we were talking about. But in the meantime, when things come and things come by, like that's part of my job, is to filter in all the, because there's so much information coming in. So that's basically how this all started. Was I just, so much information was coming in, and I realized that it was like our tribe that's like, there, everybody has questions. Everybody's kind of like, what's going on? What do I do? You know? And so I feel like these readings are kind of like SOS 911 emergency, you know, to help guide you out of this shadow and this darkness that is like weighing you down. And the fact that this card has two creatures on it, you know, reading one I just did was about the parrot, and but this one, it's like there's two creatures here. We've got the honey badger, and we've got a bird that's called the Honeyguide. So you may want to work with the honey badger spirit as well. Badgers are fucking badass, you guys. Like, I want you to research the badger spirit medicine, because they are literally one of the most badass creatures on the planet. People don't give badgers their respect, like for real. Like they're something else. It's interesting because I just realized, I'm like, wait, is that, hold on one second. Okay, I wasn't sure if we were going to read from the book, but I'm really drawn to read this. So it says, Honeyguide embodies the bounty that arises from fruitful communication, even with those who are very different from ourselves. In Africa's dense forests, Honeyguide dines on wax and larvae created by bee, but bee builds her nest in tree holes or rock crevices and guards them so ferociously that 2-ounce Honeyguide dare not enter, and so when strong rattle or honey badger passes by, she calls to him for help, and tree by tree guides him to bee's hidden treasures. Ratel's great clawed paws uncover bees' luscious combs, and he dines well on energy-giving honey. The rest of the feast is left for his guide. Few may digest wax, and so Honeyguide speaks to us not only of communication, but also of the knowledge and sustenance in all things, if, like her, we are prepared to take the time to seek them out and absorb them. Also, I was drawn to on the bottom, it says like the messages, number 49. 49 is also the number 13, which is the divine goddess. 4 is a big number for us, you guys, because it's all about stability, and that's what stability and balance is for 2026. It's about closures, endings, and new beginnings. And 9, I feel like for some of you guys, like you're so close. Like once, I feel like a lot of us are going to feel so much better once we get, I feel like by the end of March, because I kept hearing that from Spirit, and then when I looked at the astrology report, it made so much sense, because right now we're in the shadow of eclipse season. A week from today is the full solar eclipse. Then we have on the 26th, Mercury's going retrograde. You know, I can go on and on and on and on. There's so much. Like I said, I'll put a link in the description box for the February report, and I'm going to be putting out a March report as well. But this kind of energy is so intense. So they're trying to show us that like we can't do everything alone. We can't do everything by ourselves. Sometimes we need help. Sometimes, you know, we have to ask people that maybe aren't our, you know, whatever, like, you know, we all need different things. By the way, this is really drawing my attention. I don't know if some of you have this. It's from doTERRA. It's actually one of my favorite blends of all time. I wish I had smell-o-vision. Let me get my glasses. There must be something in here that they want you guys to work with in energy, so hold on. Also, I'm hearing, when I stopped, it was 3636, which is 99. So there's something there. Also, even though we're in 2026, you have to remember that the snake is still dragging out the end of 2025, right? So we're going to feel much better at the end of March when we get past eclipse season, when we get past Mercury retrograde. And also March 20th is the equinox, spring or fall, depending on what hemisphere you're in. So we're just like at the end of the end of the end. And we all kind of feel like shit. Let's just be honest. We're fucking tired, especially as the light workers. When I looked down, it was 37, 13, 37 is 10, 13. What did I just say? The divine goddess. So the divine feminine, I'm hearing like, you know, we don't always have to stay in certain places. We're going to get to that, but they want me to read this because I feel like it's really important. And I don't know if you guys can read this. I'm going to put it in, and let's see if I can get this in the camera. Oh, good. Do you see that? So this is what's in there. So see if you can actually, and just so you know, molecular is tea tree oil. That's a fancy name for it. So, you know, maybe and if you don't have all these things, that's okay. Or if you can't get all these things, that's okay. I'm just hearing like, you know, maybe there's just whatever called out to you. Maybe you saw, like for me, I saw wild orange and thyme. And I was like, oh, that's a nice combo, you know? So that's for some healing energy for somebody to work with that. But that's what that DDR Prime blend is. Okay, so you have another card and we're diving in. What did you say, Spirit? Oh, they're also saying benefit from the harvest of knowledge and sustenance that cooperation brings, because there's somebody there may be like, it's kind of like this, right? Do I love every single person and their politics at my co-op? No, I do not. But is it the only co-op in my area and I'm blessed to have, you know, the things that I need, and I know that most of the people on the board and part of our co-op are very loving, spiritually minded, you know, care about themselves people. But it's like that old term, I know it sounds so gross and weird, but like, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, right? Like, It's like you pick up the baby and then you toss the water out. You know, you pick up the baby, put the baby down, and you toss the water out. You don't bathe the baby and then like toss the water out with the baby because, you know, scary, not good, right? So they're saying, you know, obviously right now we're going to be in a transition until, you know, I mean, 100 years from now, they're going to look back on it and, you know, we'll be dead, and or maybe some of us will still be alive. I hope you guys will still be alive. You know, maybe you'll live to be, you know, humans can actually live to be hundreds of years old. It's just we've been poisoned and whatever, and I can go on and on and on. But anyway, I digress. So what they're saying is that, you know, we chose to be here as these warriors and light workers at this time to look out for each other. Like these two, you wouldn't think these two would be friends, right? You think the badger would want to eat him or something, right? Like, look at those claws on the badger, but they're saying no, because they know that they each have a purpose. They're going in the divine flow, the universal flow. By the way, if you're drawn to reading 1, there's some really good medicine in there. If you're drawn to it, if not, do not make it your story, right? You know, like, I'm also hearing for some people, it's like, I know for myself, when you watch too many readings, you can get really lost and crazy. And right now, in this kind of energy, the best thing to do is to pull yourself away from that kind of shit and just sit with spirit. Because we can actually fuck ourselves up more. Now, mind you, I know I'm saying this as I'm doing a reading for you, but you know what I mean? Like, yeah, doing a reading here and there, that's why you guys know I don't do them every single day. Some people are flushing out shit all day long. That's why they have hundreds of thousands of followers. That's why they make hundreds of thousands of dollars. Some readers make millions of dollars a year. Millions of dollars as a reader. And maybe one day that will be my path. I don't know. But all I know is that right now, we as like the leaders and the light workers, we don't have time to fuck about and whatever. It's like, we're here for a divine purpose. We all have a divine purpose, but some of us, let's be honest, our purpose is a little grander. So if we're hiding in others or we're hiding within ourselves, Spirit's saying that's not good either. I don't know who that was for, but that needed to come out. Okay, so I love this bird. The rhinoceros hornbill. How cute. And it says, perfect trust will be rewarded with its like. So, you know, we can't say that we trust spirit, that we honor spirit, that we believe and all that, and then still live in the fear bubble. They don't exist together. And look at this. I love how they're facing each other. They had me do this exactly like this. Also, look at how cool. I love when this shit happens. Look at how it looks like the rock is like going up. It almost looks like the tree is part of it. It's like, they're like, this is what our world looks like. He's like, oh, well, look at this is what my world looks like. I'm in the tropics. They're like, oh, we're wherever we are. I don't know where that is, but beautiful. Did they say it in the book when I read it? I don't know. I don't remember. I saw something recently where the reader's like, I don't remember what I say. I'm like, I don't either, because you're downloading so much information and then I'm reading and whatever. It's like, so let's take a breather. Let's take another sip of water. Man, the termites are going to town. So the main key word for the termites is transformation, and that's what we're in. Yep. We are in the midst of the biggest transformation Earth has ever seen, ever, that we are aware of in our knowledge. Look at that. See how they're connected? They're in different parts in the world, but they're still connected. I feel like it almost feels like, I feel like the hornbill feels like Jesus. I don't know where this is coming from, but I feel like the hornbill is like goofy and silly and fun and full of love. And, you know, I mean, of course, I'm sure Jesus had bad days and good days, just like anyone else. He was human here. It was almost like it didn't want to come into focus. Oh, and I looked down, it was 4407, and it just like hung there for a minute. So 44 is 8 and 7. So 8 is infinity and 7 is about cycles, right? Like we have 7 days in the week. I can go on and on. There's so many things with 7. Also, out of nowhere, my back is really hurting. So I feel like for some of you, like maybe you're just pushing yourself too hard, or you're just doing too much. I feel like you're doing things to try and avoid the healing. Oh, I just got the chills. And for some of you, yes, like maybe this is like a good combo to help you, but that's not necessarily where you need to be. You can't always rely on someone else. And interesting, look at how they almost have like, they have similar coloring. Like they've got an orange beak too, and they're black, white, and gray. And this is like black and white and got the orange, and you know, it's like they're very similar. It's almost like, I feel like for some of you, I feel like in this situation, it's like you're like, I need to have somebody watch out for me, and I will be this perfect, beautiful bird. I will, look at me, I would be best in show. I am the most beautiful bird in the world. And then your inside of you is just like, but I want to be a goofy weirdo. I don't want to be this pretty perfect princess. I've been having some serious shit with myself too. And I've been doing all these different things and trying to decide like who I am, where I'm going, what I'm doing. I'm going through massive transformation too. And then in the end, I realized I feel like when I was looking at pictures of myself, when I looked at them, I wanted to say, okay, like, how do I feel when I look at that? Like, well, how does that make me feel when I see that? Does that feel like me, or does that feel like an old version of me? Am I looking forward, or am I looking at the past? And I feel like right now, it's almost as if like, this is your future. Like, this is where you are. This is what Spirit's trying to say to you. I mean, I love how it says perfect trust will be rewarded with it's like, but the fact that they used perfect when I was feeling like that bird is beautiful too, and probably would be best in show too, right? But they're perfectly imperfect. You know, their bill is like cool and interesting. It's like, look at that. Like that's what they, or is that a poof? Wait, you guys, you know what? I just realized something. I thought this was the mouth and that was the eye, but now I'm thinking, I see that it's holding something. Do you see that? Did you guys see that in the beginning? I didn't see that. So this is actually their beak. And this is like their plume, like their ploof. Oh my gosh, we just spoke about plume in reading one. That's so crazy. And also, look at this. I just noticed this. There's a little beak sticking out. And it looks like they're about to give him like maybe a blueberry or something. Blueberry. My daughter's a blueberry. Yeah, Willy Wonka. There's definitely like, I feel like this playful energy, but also it's like, I almost feel like you're like an adult and a child at the same time. And that's awesome. That's perfect. That's what all humans actually aspire to. Do you realize that? They don't even realize that. A lot of humans don't even realize that that's what they're fucking doing. They're actually aspiring to be the best version of themselves. And a lot of people will go back to their, childhood trauma. That's such a big, now that's the new, and it's okay because we want that. I'm going down just a little dark for a second. We want that because when we go into the shadow, when we go into the darkness and we go into things that we went through, it helps us to recognize it, heal it, and don't let it trigger us anymore. Right? So I think it's interesting that I didn't even notice that there was a second bird in the second card. That's like so intense to me right now. I almost feel like, let me ask, hold on you guys. I'm getting some messages, but I just want to confirm. Okay, we have some ancestors that want to come through. I just wanted to make sure. So we're just bringing the light down a little bit. Okay. Tiffany, it's your grandma. Hi, Grandma. Oh my gosh, she's so cute. Oh, whoever Tiffany is, we love you. She's like, Tiffany, it's your grandma. Oh, that's how she talks. And it could even be insert your grandma here. Like if she speaks like that, like I just kind of feel like Tiffany came straight out. I do have a spirit guide named Tiffany too. So that could be, I'm just going to put that out there. So I feel like grandma's definitely a spirit guide. I'm getting a real tight pain in my chest though. I feel like this grandmother spirit had a heart condition or something happened with her heart. I feel like she went quickly. She's kind of showing me like, maybe not as quickly as she would have liked to, but like she didn't go as long. It's almost like she's showing me, and I feel like somebody needs to hear this so that you can breathe, because I feel like you guys are all wrapped up in your family. When I say you guys, whoever this message is for, I feel like you're all wrapped up in the fact that she suffered, and that she was alone. And she wants you to feel release in your heart. She wants you to release because it was, I mean, I can even reenact it. And like, she wants you to like, just take it for what it is and be okay with it. Okay. Cause it was like this. It was she felt a tightness. She felt pain, but it wasn't like a pain that you would think. It's almost like when, like right now, like I felt like a kind of a pain in my heart, like a heartbreak pain. It was more like that. And then she said almost instantly, she knew and understood and she was okay with it. And it happened in a few minutes. So it's not like she like, you know, literally some people are like, bam, they like die. Like they're like here and then they're dead. It's like, no, she definitely like lingered a minute, she said, but she wasn't in pain. She was in ecstasy. And because she literally almost like, it was like she's trying to show that it really does happen like that. Like you see your loved ones, like I'm seeing like a golden light. I'm seeing tons of people, animals. I'm also hearing she was very loved. She feels very like short. I feel like she was wearing a sweater too, or maybe you have her sweater or something. But she's so sweet. And I almost feel like she might have had an accent of some kind. And like grandmother, like I feels like she was like, I love you Munchkin or Puchkin or something like that. Like I feel like she, if she didn't have an accent, she's saying, I'm starting to get emotional. She's always with you. And she loves you. And she wants you to let it go. She doesn't want you to hold this in your heart anymore. Okay? And this might be for any of you. There maybe you're holding something really tight in your heart right now. She wants you to let it go. She speaks for all grandmothers everywhere. She is quite a character. She's short, and I almost feel Italian, but I kind of felt a lot of different things. I felt Russian, Slovenian. I felt a lot of different cultures. So, it's the grandmother spirit who's just like speaking for all of us. I feel like she's saying Puchnik or something like that. I don't know what that means. For anybody who lost somebody and they weren't there. My throat chakra is so tight because I lost my mom and I didn't get to say goodbye to her either. But I did, but I didn't. Not in the way I thought I would. So sometimes death comes. And in the second card, what they're showing is rebirth. Oh my god, my throat's so tight, you guys. Cry it out. I feel like you need a good cry. It's almost like they won't let me talk. Okay, I really needed to gather myself. That was really intense. Also, when I looked up, it was 5406 and 54 is 9. 6 is a big number for us this year. Not just that it's 2026, it's also like a big number for us. 6 is after the hardship of 5, and they want you to stop holding your breath. Reading 2, stop holding your breath. Stop saying you're still sad about this, or like, I feel like for some of you, you're like still like using your grandma's death in like some victim thing to like keep you from like doing things. And this is just, I don't know who this is for, but they're saying like, it's very specific, but I literally heard like, it's been 12 years. You're never going to get over it, but you will see them again. And they want you to stop looking at things from the wrong. Oh, and I looked up, it was 5454. So work with angel number 5454, which is also 9 and 9. But they're saying like, you know, you have to release. You've got to do some things on your own. Some of you are meant for solitude and some of you are not. And, you know, these are group readings. If you want to work with me one-on-one, you can email me. It's in the description box, okay? All you have to do is highlight it and copy it and put it in your email and shoot me an email. I work on a sliding scale, okay? I do all different forms of service from spirit. So if you need like a little more intense information just for you, reach out, okay? Sometimes it's just a short 30-minute video just to give you, it's just about you. But there are so many things coming through right now. I'm being very mindful and holding my tongue because there are some of you that take some of these too biblically, you know? And I'm not even a Bible person, but you know what I'm saying? You know? Because that's the problem with the Bible and the cherry picking of it. You know, people take what they want from it and use it as scripture, use it as teaching. But it's like, you know, the animals are here to teach us too. You need to trust that you're where you're supposed to be. You need to let go and trust that spirit is going to be there for you. You need to trust and let go that and know in your heart and in your soul that the ancestors are absolutely, positively on your side. They are looking out for you. The worst is over. Stop looking to the past. Stop looking. We can all look outside and see what's going on. We're not blind. We all know. We see it. It doesn't mean you have to live in it. 5643. 56 is 11. 43 is 7. It's also the number 9. We're almost there, you guys. So get out of the shadow and back into the, you know, we're at the wizard, right? Let me see if my flash wants to go on. I wanted to kind of show you guys the sun. Look at Ra. Look at Ra. Look at that. You guys see? Ra's coming in. Look at those sun rays coming in. That is so powerful. Do you see that? Spirit wants you to see how magnificent and magical and powerful you are. Some of you, the people that you think are protecting you are actually the people that are tearing you down and are stopping you from your path and your purpose. You can't continue to look back. You have to look forward. And some of you, reach out to your community to help you do it. Let me see. All right, Spirit. Do we have, and Grandma's giving you guys a big hug. Grandma's here. She's giving you guys big hugs, big hugs. She's so cute and tiny right now. I love her. I'm like almost 5'3". I always say I'm 5'2 3/4. But like, I feel like I would tower over her. That's how tiny she is. She kind of reminds me of Ariana Grande's, I think she called her Nono or something like that. Anyway. All right, you guys, do we have any more messages for reading 2? All right, those are your messages. We love you. Spirit loves you. Until next time, take really good care of yourselves and each other. And like I said, all of my information's in the description box. And there's also links to other readings and other things from the other readings that you might find insightful or helpful on your journey. Make sure to work with the Badger Spirit Medicine. Work with the Honeyguide, the Rhinoceros Hornbill. Go deeper into their spiritual meaning and research the Termite Spirit Medicine. You got a lot of work to do. It's time. Work on it. You got this. In the meantime, take this time to just be quiet and still. Maybe just do the research. Do the research on that, you know? Pull yourself away from that stuff and research what's good for what's in the greatest and highest good. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. All right, you guys. I'll see you next time. Love you. Blessed be. Oh, bye. Welcome, reading 3. I love that it was 58, 59. And then it went to 59. On the ticker. So 5859, I would work with that angel number. I feel it could even be like ages. It could be It could be a lot of different things. It could be a number on a sports team. You know what I mean? So a lot of numerology has come through in the first two readings. And so when I looked down and saw yours, I was like, especially when they're natural like that, like I'm not looking for it. You know, I'm not like stretching out endings so I can be like, let's make these numbers perfect. It's like, no, it's just, that's the way it is. So it means something to somebody. And always feel free to comment in the description box, or maybe you need to, yeah, there's a lot of stuff in the description box. Check that out too. But yeah, I'm feeling, let's just put it this way. Your energy, this reading is so different from reading 1 and reading 2. Like the energy is so different, even down to the fact that the other two, like they were really adamant that they didn't want anything there but the cards. But yours, I took a break in between the readings, and it's gorgeous out here today where I live. It's February 10th in real time. And also it's a 4-day, by the way. Balance, love it. But also it's just gorgeous and sunny. And so I like put my bedding outside to get some fresh air, and my pillows from my couch. And, you know, it's like, it just feels good. And it was so nice to be out there. And as I was walking in the house, that little branch in your reading was like glowing. So I felt like it definitely wanted to come in. And before we get to the card, I almost feel like for some of you, like maybe you need this. Look at this moss. I love Washington. A lot of you know I'm moving. I'm starting to get sad. I really love the Pacific Northwest. I've been here for 15 years, but my time here is done. I don't know if it's forever, but at least for now. So we've got that. And here is, and here's your card. There's another card behind it. It's the barn owl, and it says, love approaches unexpectedly. So these are messages from spirit that you need to hear right now. So, oh, look at that. Also, do you see how the reflection of the candle is like right underneath the owl? It almost looks like, if you look at it, it almost looks like the owl is between like a bunch of different worlds. Like, go with me here, right? Like this is the nighttime. And then I feel like this is like the sun is going down, but the sun is here. Cause like if I take that, if I move the candle, see, it's not there. But I almost feel like, oh, I had it, but you get it. It's almost like the owl is like shading the sun. Oh my God, I see where they're going. Okay. So it's like the owl is shading the sun, but you can still see the reflection of the sun on the water. And it's like a really magical moment that doesn't happen all the time, right? Where it's like you can see the stars and the sun and everything at once. So I feel like for you guys, right when I said, oh, I get it, you chose the owl for many reasons, but the number one reason you chose the owl is because I feel like some of you have been feeling a lot of fear-based energy around this new moon in Aquarius, and the change of guard from the wood snake to the fire horse. Drink some water. I also heard some of you guys aren't speaking your truth either. It told me to slow down. So we need to slow down. They're saying there's nothing to be afraid of. The only souls on this planet at present that have anything to be concerned about are those that are doing wrong. Because the piper is here and they want to get paid. So if you are walking in light and you are walking in love as a representative of love, it says love approaches unexpectedly. We'll see what the second card says, because I'm not feeling a romance around this. In fact, when I started this reading, I felt like a lot of people who would choose the owl is because the owls are based on wisdom and they have all these different things. I have this little, one of our tribe members, Anna, gifted this to me. I call her Matilda. And Matilda's awesome because you can take her head off. And inside there were a bunch of different messages. So let's see what messages Matilda has. I'm like holding it like this so you can kind of see. Okay. And so what I do is I just kind of, if anything stays in the top, which it did, I do that first. Ooh, limited edition. Yeah, like this is the kind of like time astrologically that like we've never seen before. And look at the blue. Also, I wanted to buy like red or pink nail polish. I was like, I took a break from doing my nails and I was like, I need a new color. And this is the color that would not stop talking to me. And I was like, I didn't realize till I got home, like, yeah, it's like Arcturian blue. It makes sense. It totally makes sense. Isn't that funny? So allow yourself to, you know, connect to the divine, because I feel like for some of you, this one's sticking out. I just feel like it's talking to me. High fructose corn syrup. Oh, start looking at your ingredients. No high fructose corn syrup. A lot of these things, they are filled with chemicals and bad stuff. That's why people, why do you think they're like, oh, we have more cancer than ever? It's like, yeah, well, look at our food. I mean, honestly, people have been talking about how they want to go after like our government for war crimes and bringing, and these other countries were putting these gross chemicals and things in our food that are killing us and killing our family. All right. Any more? If some come out when I do this, when it's like upright, then I know. Okay, so here we go. So these are our further messages. We are going to get to that card in the back, but I feel like right now they really want us to focus on these messages right now. Okay, so my eyes went straight to food. I heard clean it up, food. You know, and I'll just kind of do this and then I'll give you guys a thing. Oh my gosh, by the way, look at this. This is one of my favorite finds of all time. If I can get it in focus. I don't know if you guys can see it. It's so cute. It's like the tiniest of tiny. Look at that. Look at that. Sweet little bird. And one side is gray and one side is blue. Okay, then we have body. So food, body, what does this one say? My eyes went to this one. Value. Interesting. Oh, okay. I hear where they're saying. Stable. That's my refrigerator talking. Extra. I'm just going to say them and then show you. Music. Long. I don't know, 4. Oh, we just spoke about 4, so that must be a good number for you guys this year. We, white, worth, wood. We're in a wood snake year. Extra. Oh, you got 2 extra serving N. And then high fructose corn syrup in limited edition. So let's get in here and see. So, when I saw the value, I feel like for some of you, instead of buying good food and like taking care of your body, it's like Spirit's like, they want you to start weighing like, what's it worth? In the long term, what's it worth? Because every time you eat this crap food, or when you choose the crap food over the healthy food, it's like you're taking like 4 years off your life. Also, I heard serving. When I saw serving, I saw 2 things. I saw portions, so it could be portion control too. Like maybe instead of making like a healthy dinner, you're just like having a bag of chips. Been there, done that, no judgment. They're just saying like, you know, our bodies are not going to respond the same way they did before. They're just not going to. We need to give them more stability. And I feel like that's a very tiny blue bird, or a baby blue jay or something. So you may want to work with that too. Also, music is very healing. I don't know if N means anything to you guys, if it's an initial. Also, I feel like it could be a Z. That is wax, but that could mean something too. I keep seeing flower when I see 4 and seeing white. So it could be like no white flower. That's what's messing you up. Maybe some of you guys are having like food stuff in your body and you don't feel right. But they're saying the value is not worth it. It's just not worth it. Especially now, there's so many companies that make so many different foods that are like super, super healthy. Actually, here, do you guys want, I just heard, does somebody want a screenshot? Let me zoom out a little bit. You know what I can do? I'll just push them in. Because maybe you're seeing things too. That's just what I saw. That's just what I saw. So, you know, it could be just because I saw that, you guys could see something completely different. This is your reading. The we too. Let me see. I always like to flip them over and see, because sometimes they do have things on the other side. I don't remember seeing anything on these, but this one I like, the limited edition, because they're talking about, I feel like that's astrology, like the Arcturians and music. There's something with that. I'm telling you. I feel it. The Arcturian, I feel like it's the Arcturians that are here. Like myself, you know? All right, so I don't know if that means anything. Maybe those stripes do. Even that, like that purple pen. I don't know if that means anything. Okay, you guys. So let's see what your other card has to say. Because these are messages you need to hear from Spirit. There's many of you. Oh my gosh, you guys. Shut it. I forgot. That's right. You had the bluebird. The Western bluebird. What? 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 Come on. Come on. I can't make this shit up. Ooh, listen to that going by, right? Yeah, like, I feel like that was a confirmation from Spirit. So work with the bluebird spirit medicine outside of this reading. Okay, so the Western bluebird, lend a helping hand and never forget that spring will return. So I'm hearing from, you know, basically what the owl is saying, love approaches unexpectedly, lend a helping hand and never forget that spring will return. So, you know, I don't know if this is, I mean, I don't feel, let's put it this way, I don't feel anything coming from these cards specifically. This is when I think that it really is like for you guys to kind of like feel it out for yourself. Let me see, do you want them, do we want to read from the book? Are there any further messages in either card in the book right now? All right, let's see if we have any channeled messages. We did have some channeled messages from a grandmother in reading 2. It was really powerful. It actually made me cry. It was really, really powerful. Also, I'm going to take the flash off because I feel like I want you guys to see the cards the way that they are. Okay. Spirit, do we have any more messages, or are there any loved ones here? Oh, there's a grandfather here. He's very old though. He's wearing like a very formal 3-piece suit, but it looks like something from like the 1800s. He's very well to do. I'm also seeing a woman here, another ancestor. She is like, I'm seeing, oh gosh, what's her name? Kirsten Stewart played her, Marie Antoinette. I'm seeing an ancestor from Marie Antoinette. I'm seeing France. The grandfather, that would make sense because the suit from the grandfather that I saw felt like European. You know what I mean? Like it felt like a 3-piece European suit from the 1800s. Nothing that I would have, you know, especially because I studied fashion in college and the history of fashion and like that. It was a very more European style. So I don't know if that means anything. I'm hearing Greg and George. Trudy, I just heard Trudy Styler. Who is that? Is that Sting's wife or Skylar or something? I don't know, but this might be an ancestor for you guys. You never know. You never know who watches these readings. You never know. I don't know what that means. Oh gosh, I hope she's okay. But that's interesting because in real time today is February 10th, 2026. So I pray that she's okay. We'll send her some loving, healing energy. But yeah, I'm feeling those ancestors. The Marie Antoinette French ancestor, the woman, I definitely feel like, yeah, like I feel like there's some of you come from a very long line of old money, really, 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 really old money. And I don't even know if some of you know that or not. I don't, if, let's put it this way, if you have, and this might even just be for one person, remember this, I'm channeling, but you know that show Finding Your Roots, or like those ancestry.com, if that is something that you've been obsessed with or something that you've been interested in, I'm hearing a huge green light from spirit for you to look for it. Because it's one of those things, like, let's put it this way. I feel like you're meant to follow the breadcrumbs, because I feel like these kind of people, you'll have proof that you're family, and like you're gonna look like somebody. Like I feel like you're gonna like go into like a castle type house, or like a really like an estate or something, and it feels like a movie. It's really cool. And I feel like you are like, you're gonna see somebody on the wall that was like from Marie Antoinette time in their family, and you're gonna look like them. You know how they say like certain generations, sometimes you just like, just the way that the genes work, and you look like, you know, great 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 grandma. You know what I mean? So I feel like this is for some of you, and I feel like they would love you, and like you're like, what is my purpose? I don't know what to do. I feel like I'm in the wrong place or the wrong country. And before you know it, you're like taking over an estate in France, and you just inherited like millions of dollars. It happens. It literally happens. So this literally is for at least one person out there on planet Earth right now, because it's so vivid and it feels so real. The grandfather George kind of feels like a different, like I feel like that's a different family. I was feeling Lithuania, but also in reading too, we had a grandmother that came through there was a lot of different languages and cultures that were coming through from grandmothers and messages. So anyway, if you're drawn to reading too, go check it out. Let me see. So the Western Bluebird, oh, that's what the grandpa is saying. He said, lend a helping hand and never forget that spring will return. They're saying, never forget what I showed you or what I taught you. And this could even be like, you know, maybe somebody through your lineage, I heard drink some water, through your lineage who was known for being, you know, super, super awesome and kind, and like took care of people, like used his money wisely. I feel like you're either going to inherit some money, or you've inherited money and you've been like wondering what to do. And I'm hearing spirit saying, lend a hand, feed people. Like this is a mother and a baby, obviously representation in the Western Bluebird, but I'm hearing like literally like feed people. If you've been looking what to do, maybe you've been trying to find a purpose, maybe you've always wanted to run a food bank or an outreach program or something, I'm hearing yes, 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 yes. And then I heard no for some of you. It's literally just, maybe you're just meant to volunteer, okay? And I would hear to volunteer anyway first, because then you can kind of see how it works and see what's going on. This came up in, I think, reading one about doing an internship at a zoo. Like, you know, sometimes we have to like do internships. I did a lot of jobs for free I've changed careers many times and only went to college once. And long story short, I did a lot of things for free so that I could get like the experience that I needed so that I can get hired and do the jobs. And, you know, some of them, it only took me like a year and 9 months to get to like my dream job. So, and it goes by so quickly. And also the owl is here to say, love approaches unexpectedly. That is for somebody. Again, if you feel there's like a very small thing, so maybe it's even just one person in this reading, like that you're going to have a new love coming into your life after you watch this reading. I'm hearing February 20th, so I rarely put out stuff like that. But remember that the 17th is the new moon, so it could be, you know, like a few days later, maybe you're going to meet your beshert, your person. Maybe you've been putting it out into the universe for a long time. You've been single and you're like, you know, but also Spirit's saying like, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Like, just let it go. Just let it go. Let it go naturally. Okay. All right, you guys, those are your messages. Also work with the owl spirit medicine and the Western Bluebird spirit medicine, or just the Bluebird in general. The fact that we got a freaking blue teeny tiny feather and the Bluebird card. I mean, come on. You know, it's a big deck. It's all birds, but come on. I love you so much. And also, they only had me bring this in. I thought it was just going to be for the owl. I had no idea that that was going to connect. There's something special there. Also, I'm hearing really quick before I go, I'm hearing like night and day. I feel like something's going to change in your life, and it's going to feel like the difference between night and day. But just stay steadfast. Stay, you know what I mean? Stay the course. Stay the course. Stay the course. All right. Any more messages, Spirit? No, but the French family is excited they're like, it's like they don't even know you're coming yet, but they're going to be so excited. I don't know who that's for, but please feel free to comment. I don't care if it's a year, 10 years from now, like comment and let us know, like, if you like sought them out, or maybe it's more than one of you. Maybe it's just to follow the breadcrumbs to look at some ancestry.com because you're meant to heal something. This is a big year of the ancestors, and like they're gifting us and we're gifting them. It's the reciprocity between us and the ancestors and the other side. All right, you guys, until next time, all of my information's in the description box. There's some awesome links to other things there as well. And we will see you at the next reading. Blessed be. I hope. Love you. Bye. Welcome, reading 4. Okay, so before we get into your cards, I just wanted to tell you that I was called to do some scrying. And these are the items that I saw. Maybe this will help you, like if you weren't sure which reading, or you know, I don't know, maybe it's just a wink wink from spirit to let you know you're on the right track. But I saw a Christmas tree. I saw a megaphone. I saw a telescope. I also saw a tripod, but I definitely saw a telescope, but the tripod could also represent a camera, because the way it's looking, it almost looks like the megaphone could also be a camera. It's hard to explain, like an oldie time camera. I'm seeing an axe, but like for chopping wood, not like in a creepy horror movie. And I'm seeing an octopus. I'm seeing a lizard. It almost kind of looked like a T-Rex. I don't know. I see a heart. I see an angel. See if anything else comes through. I see a rocket, but like an old rocket that like you'd see a boy play with in like the 60s. It's like a vintage rocket. It's like a fat rocket. It almost looks like a submarine or something. I don't know, but it definitely feels like a rocket. I'm seeing the Russian flag. That's interesting because we've had a lot of countries come through on the other readings. So if you're drawn to readings 1, 2, or 3, I would definitely go check them out. We had ancestors come through on 2 and 3. I even said at one point something about Russia, so there must be something for you in one of those. I'm also seeing a boot, so it could be Italy. You might have some Italian family. I heard Russian spy. Did some of you guys have a Russian spy in your family? Interesting. A lot of people, you know, people do what they had to do. Also, when this started, I forgot to tell you guys, when this started, it was like 119 something, I think 1921, I'm almost positive, because every single one of these readings had some tie-in with numerology, and some of it was with ancestors. So I definitely felt like 1921. It's almost like I didn't even see like the 1 hour. I just saw 1921. So I feel like 1921 is a big thing for you guys. I feel like some of you were big pivotal people in World War I, and you're here to make a difference again now. You're like, we stopped the Nazis once, we'll stop them again. Yeah, there's like a lot of like power to the people energy I'm getting, like a big, like a fist in the air. Put them in the air, like, you know, pump them like you just don't care, raise them like you just don't care, right? Like pump your hands up in the air, raise them like you just don't care, something like that. I'm hearing rings might be significant for somebody. I don't know what that means. I'm seeing the color green, but like in a heart, like the heart chakra. Wearing green is really good. It's really good energy. There's a lot of messages coming through. It almost feels like a ticker tape, but I'm just gonna leave it there for right now, and I'm gonna pause it and take a breather. I'll be right back. Wow, and when I just paused it, it was 122.45. So 422 is 4, and 40 whatever is 9, 45 whatever is 9. And those numbers came up with in the other readings as well. So I don't remember exactly which ones or whatever, especially when I do 4 readings, even though I've taken breaks, like, and here it looks like, oh, I've only gone 1 hour and 23 minutes, but I've actually been doing this for hours because I'm doing stuff around my house too. So anyway, let's see what your first card has to say. The Secretary Bird. Okay, and it says, be rid of your enemies. Okay, I just heard fan them out, which means you have other cards, but they're like asking me, I knew this was going to happen. I just didn't feel it in the other ones, that it's so much so that I forgot about it. And now I'm realizing it's you guys. They want me to fan out your messages. All right. There is somebody in your orbit who is not your friend. You've got a frenemy, my friend. You may even have more than one frenemy. Also, I did clean out my phone, but you know how this goes. If for any reason my video ever stops, I will always do a part 2 in the description box, but there's always a reason for it. But I think we're going to be okay. So let's see the secretary bird. Drink some water. Also, there's a lot of power coming through for you guys right now. A lot of protection. Spirit is like, this isn't like to like frighten you. This is more of like a, like, look at that hawk. I mean, you got a fucking hawk, you guys. Like, to me, I'm just like, that's always like such a powerful medicine, in my opinion. The hawk is just, they're one of, I mean, they're birds of, they're predators, you know? So it's like, they see things, they, you know, so I feel like Spirit wants you to know, like, they're watching you like a hawk, like they're looking out for you. But there are also other people right now who are watching you like a hawk, and they are not in for your greatest and highest good. So the secretary bird says, Secretary bird strides speedily across the African savanna. At first glance, she seems as demure as the perfect clerk secretary, her crest of individual feathers reminiscent of the quills these long ago Victorians placed behind their ears. But Secretary bird is far from demure. She stomps fearlessly through grassland, seeking fearsome snake and wily lizard, and when dangerous snake emerges from cover, Secretary bird is ready. Snake is dispatched with a kick and a stomp and devoured whole. Enemy done away with and dinner acquired and one clever coup. Oh my gosh, you guys, come on. In real time, we're exactly a week away from the, we're in the last week of the wood snake. Whenever you watch this, it's always timeless, but in real time, we are literally like a week from today on Tuesday. We will be going from the wood snake to the fire horse. Also, right when I started this, my lower left hand back started hurting so bad, and I was perfectly fine. All these other, well, actually started hurting, I think, in reading 2 as well. And one of the other readings, it was hurting, but I want to say it was 2 because I feel like 3 I felt fine. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just noticing it, and I feel like no matter how I sit or what I do. So I feel like this is a message for some of you guys to stretch and like take good care of yourself. But how crazy is that? It's like, I feel like they're trying to say, like, you are going to eat that shit up. Like, you're going to look back at 2025. You're going to be so strong by the end of 2026, 2027, that you are going to look back on 2025 and the year of the snake, and you're going to be like, yep, as they say, I ate it, right? So it says, there are times to offer the olive branch of peace and times when to do so can only lead to disaster. Secretary bird has stomped into your cards to advise that the time for parlaying is over. Parlaying means like speaking. Instead, say goodbye to undermining lovers and let scheming work colleagues and enemies disguised as friends know that you are putting them firmly and unequivocally at a distance. You can ghost them, you can write them a letter, you can do whatever feels good to you. It's personal and it's all for you. So that is interesting. Then in the middle, we got the Roman tufted goose. Take heed of those who give warnings. What? Also, do you think it's interesting that it's like, they're like stomping on the snake in this picture, right? And then here it's like, I feel like they're like, oh, yeah. Did you ever hear they're like the gossip, the goosey gossips or the gossip gooses or whatever, right? Like they're like, oh, well, did you see what the wizard was wearing today? Blah, blah, blah. You know, like whatever. They're like talking on the sly. I feel like you've got people who are like in your face, like saying one thing, but behind your back, they're like talking shit. And it's because they're so fucking jealous of you. They don't even know where to begin, right? So I'm going to go to here where it says the Harris Hawk, renew the bonds of true friendship and remember their importance. I don't know what movie it was. Maybe it was Jawbreaker. It was like, I just remember watching a movie that I hadn't seen in years, and I watched it again, and it was, you know, it's like the Telltale, right? Where like the two girls or boys are like best friends, right? And then they get to school, the one isn't as cool or considered as cool, so the other friend dumps their good friend for the little fucking, you know, gossip, mean girls, chatty Cathy, whatever kind of thing, right? And then in the end, it's like the good friend, you know, it's like the end of Heathers when Martha, they called her Martha Dumb Truck. They were so mean to her. But in the end, it's like her and Winona Ryder become like best friends. And she's like, you're actually the fucking coolest person here, you know? Right? It's like, because we're seeing like that shit's gonna fade away. All the fake makeup and the plastic surgery and all. I mean, if you have done things like, I'm not getting on you. I'm just saying like, there's just a lot of people wearing masks out there, like literally, like changing the way they look just to fit in, changing the way that they are, just like hiding who they are to be accepted and be loved. And Spirit's like, yeah, but that's the opposite of true friendship. True friendship is people loving you for who you are, like, you know, seeing your flaws and all of your, you know, imperfections and loving you anyway. That's true love. That's true friendship. And Spirit's got your back, and obviously you're so strong, you know, you can handle this on your own, but they just want you to know that, you know, take heed of those who give warnings. And I feel like the first card was literally giving you a warning saying, be rid of your enemies. And then the last card says, renew the bonds of true friendship and remember their importance. So who have you shut out of your life? And or, you know, it could even be that it's time to shut out. Like, I know for myself, I had to close every single door for every person I knew. And it didn't go one big slam. This was years of like cutting this person off, then that person off, then that person off, then that person off. And then until it got to the point where I tried to keep certain people in my life. And one of my friends who I loved dearly, and they were on a spiritual path as well. And I wanted to keep them in my life so bad. But I was like, I couldn't keep living in like the past, or like we still had people in common and, you know, family, and they would talk about things, and I would, no matter how many times I said I don't want to know about that, and she's like, well, you know, blah blah blah, they're in my life. I'm like, exactly, but they're not in mine. And I was like, I don't know how to, that's exactly what I'm saying. So it got to the point where I literally, I in my life right now, I know one person that I knew before my awakening and coming into my gifts like 15 years ago. There's one person, one, uno. And that's because I met them. I didn't grow up with them. We met when we were adults. It was different. And then we lost touch, and then we found each other on Facebook, and we were both going down the same spiritual path. We do different things, but we're both light workers, right? We both serve spirit, and you know, but that's why she's still in my life. And that's why Spirit brought her into my life. And she's such a joy. I mean, I love all of my friends, but I mean, I'm so grateful for her because she's literally been through so many things. Like, we've known each other for like almost 30 years. It's a long time. I think it's like 25 plus years now. So, you know, but it's rare. And I know it's difficult, but you know what the cool thing is? For every friend and family member and person I let go, Spirit brought another cool person into my life. Now, I am so blessed to have so many friends, and they're in my life because we are the same. We are awake. We understand that we have a purpose. You know what I mean? That's why I'm not pushing you guys to like push these people out of your life just to be like, push them out. It's because they want to live in the past, or they want to keep putting you in like what they think and who they think you are. And it's hard to even become who you are when you have gossip gussies, you know, around you saying who they think you are. You know who you are. You don't need people to tell you who you are. But it's easy to get caught up in that, you know? I feel I'm feeling like, oh, here we go. Spirit, do we want to do any channeling? We did some channeling in readings 2 and 3. We had ancestors come through. We had some really cool ancestors come through. So if you have like French, Italian, what are the ones that came through? Russian, Slovenian, a lot of cool things. Oh, I think I might have said that. That's right. We channeled a little bit at the beginning. Okay, that's fine. Do we want to read any more from the book, Spirit? Is it in their greatest nice good for us to read any more? Do we want to read the Roman Goose or the Harris Hawk for them? Okay, do we have any more messages? No, it feels very clear and concise. Do you want me to pull any more cards? I was getting this vibe that I was meant to pull. Let me see. I feel like there's one more message, but I don't know exact. Oh, Oh my gosh, I knew something. This was pulled into the side. It says, remember, no man is a failure who has friends. This was at the end of It's a Wonderful Life, and it's from Tom Sawyer. Well, actually, no, he wrote it in the Tom Sawyer book. But I feel like these are the angels watching over you. You have friends. And I know being a light worker is a lonely road. You guys, I cry all the time. It's not easy. I know you want to hang on to these old worlds and these old people, but remember who you are. Get quiet. Go in meditation. Sit with spirit. You know, I put my phone, my music, my Pandora on shuffle, and I have hundreds of stations, and I just let spirit like talk to me. This morning I was like, I need some guidance, you know, and it changed everything. It also brought this reading together today because I've been downloading. I've been feeling like these, you know, downloads. So many messages were coming through. That's why this was more of like a what you need to hear from spirit right now. All these readings have been so different from each other. There's been some common threads, of course, but like for the most part, they've been very, very different from each other. So spirit saying you are never alone. It's like, why do you, and they're saying they want you to ask yourself this, why would you want anybody ever in your life and your family too? My family, I was the constant fucking butt of the jokes all the time. And then whenever I would call people out on it in the family, they'd be like, oh, come on. Or I'd start crying. They'd be like, oh, she's being sensitive again. I'm like, okay, well, I'm the one that's constantly made fun of and bullied. So fuck you. You know, like, I mean, sorry, I don't mean to get aggressive, but seriously, I just got to the point where I was just like, fuck you. And then I started to push back and push back and push back till I finally just pushed myself out. I was like, you know what? I'm the common denominator here, right? Exactly. So I'm going to go because you can now who are you going to bully and pick on? I won't be here for you to do that. They probably do it when I'm not there. They probably like watch my stuff and you know what I mean? I don't know. I mean, not that maybe they don't think about me at all. I don't know. You know, I don't want to be all ego about it, but I'm just saying like either way, I don't feel it. Like I'm not connected to that. I mean, you can hear there's still some pain in there, right? I'm working on it. I'll probably be working on that through this lifetime. Hopefully I'll keep it here, but who knows? I may be continuing to work on that through other lifetimes. I know I'm taking a lot of things on for my ancestors and I feel like you guys are too. Right? But you know that old saying, with friends like that, who needs enemies? Frenemies. You don't need them. Fuck the mean girls, mean boys. And especially if it's your family, you don't owe them anything at all. With grace and gratitude, you cut those cords and you say goodbye. You can give them a goodbye or you can just fade away. I tried to talk to my family so many times. I tried to say goodbye. I tried to, you know, it is what it is. I'm going to breathe that out for all of us. That's a sigh of, let's take in some breaths through our nose and out our mouth. We breathe in loving light energy. Thank you, Spirit, for healing us from the inside out and the outside in. Breathe it back into the ether, back into love. Let it circulate. Let it circulate. Okay, Spirit, do we have any more messages for reading 4 at this time in any way, shape, or form? By the way, when I looked up, it was 1:37:04. 1 is beginnings, 37 is 10 endings, and 4 is about balance, and today's a 4-day. So work with balance, work with getting yourself stable. Stability. This is about you. This is about loving you. No guilt, no shame. People who guilt or shame you are only guilting and shame you because they're not getting their way. People who love you and care about you would say, I understand that you can't be here. I understand, you know, whatever it is. And if they don't understand, then they'll lose you. You know, that's the thing. You don't always are the ones walking away from the friendships. When you change your role in these relationships, when you decide to tell your boss, you know what, I'm done. I had something for myself happened like that where I was just like, it's like, bam, once I'm done, I'm done. I'm disconnected. And I always tried to be that person that stayed the 2 weeks, but I didn't always stay the 2 weeks. I literally had bosses who would say, I will pay you for the 2 weeks, but you need to leave. And I'm like, why? And they're like, because you're a bad influence on the rest of, I'm like, what? Because I'd be like, don't stay here. You know, I'd be like, you guys, this is such a toxic environment, you know? Right? But it was like, I mean, I worked in companies with NDAs, you know, and it's just like, I'm like, Yeah, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to lie for you people. This is really horrible. Don't stay in places if it feels icky or it doesn't feel good to your soul. Let's put it this way. Any person that you spend time with, from the time you open your eyes in the morning until you close them at night to go to sleep, if it's uncomfortable and icky, you don't belong there. Elevate yourself. Step into a different timeline. You own and have the power to step into the timeline and the dream life that you want. But in order to do this, you have to walk away from that. And it's going to be different for all of you. That's why I said that. All right, you guys, until next time, take really good care of yourselves and each other. We love you so much. Blessed be. Oh, bye. Oh, and P.S. There's a lot of stuff in the description box. If you'd like to work with me one-on-one, you can just highlight my email, copy it, put it in your email, send me an email. I work on a sliding scale, and I always ask Spirit what type of divination that you need, whether it's for one person, a couple, a group of people, throat chakra, video, whatever it is, one-on-one. All that's in there. Also remember, oh, and I also have links if you'd like to contribute to the work that I do. And remember that prayer is free. It's all about the exchange of energy. Drink lots of water, stay hydrated, take good care of yourselves, and we'll see you next time. Bye. I love you.